If you do anything wrong in your life, and I find out about it, I'm gonna try to take everything away from you. And I don't care when I find out. Could be today, tomorrow, 15, 20 years from now. If I find out, you're fucking finished. Who's that? That's you.
So I did not want to go back and forth with Katt Williams like that. That bothered me so bad. That really bothered me.
You can spot Wanda Smith and her husband standing right there by the front door, trying to keep things calm, but it's clear the tension is off the charts. The moment Katt Williams walks in, it's like the whole room shifts. And if you've been anywhere near social media this week, you already know what's going down. Katt Williams' name is everywhere. People are dragging him all over again because that old clip with the late talk show host Wanda Smith has resurfaced, and it's causing chaos online. That infamous moment when Katt completely roasted her on her own show has gone viral again. Folks are debating whether he went too far or if it was just typical Katt being Katt. What's wild is how fast the internet turned it into a cancel storm. Some people calling him disrespectful, others defending him as a comedy legend who never holds back. Either way, the drama's back in full swing, and fans can't stop replaying that heated exchange like it just happened yesterday. Now people are saying Katt completely destroyed Wanda's career, the one she spent decades building with hard work and dedication.
It was a setup.
Right.
And remember, they tried to kill me this same weekend. Not in jokes, with a real gun in my real face on real camera. Understand I'm losing my life.
Fans online are furious, claiming Katt didn't just roast her, he humiliated her so bad that it messed up her whole image. Some are even out here calling Katt a POS for what he did to Wanda, saying he crossed every line that day. The heat got even worse because this came right after Katt recently apologized for mocking Michael Jackson in one of his old comedy specials. So now the internet wants to see if he'll do the same for Wanda's family too. But here's the twist. Not everyone's falling for that narrative. Dave Chappelle actually jumped in to defend Katt, saying the whole Wanda situation was pure comedy, nothing more. According to Dave, Katt was just doing what he's always done, firing back sharp when someone tries to come at him. He said it's part of who Katt is, that quick wit, that fire, that ability to turn a moment into a viral storm. Dave even hinted that people these days are too sensitive, that what used to be jokes are now turned into cancel campaigns. Still, the internet is split, half saying Katt went too far, and the other half shouting that comedy ain't supposed to be censored. It's wild how one old clip can blow up all over again and have everyone arguing like it just happened last night. Chappelle didn't hold back either. He straight up called out fans for constantly digging through someone's past just to find a reason to cancel them. He said it's wild how people act like they've never made mistakes, yet they're quick to tear others down over something that happened years ago. Dave made it clear, dragging up old interviews and turning them into new scandals says more about the audience than the comedian himself. So, let's break this down. What really went down between Katt and Wanda? Why is everyone suddenly obsessed with a clip that's nearly a decade old? Back then, Katt showed up on Wanda's radio show, and what started as lighthearted banter quickly turned into a verbal boxing match that no one saw coming. Wanda took a few playful jabs, but Katt clapped back with that signature savage humor, and the whole thing went viral for all the wrong reasons. Now, years later, the internet's dusting it off like it's breaking news, using it to fuel another wave of outrage. But Chappelle's not having it. He thinks people are overreacting again, turning every comedic moment into a social media witch hunt. He's basically saying, if you can't handle jokes, maybe comedy isn't for you.
This is the exclusive security video from the Atlanta Comedy Theater in Gwinnett County. You can see Wanda Smith and her husband by the front door. Watch as Katt Williams.
And honestly, he's got a point. Not every old clip deserves a modern-day trial. So here's the latest twist. In case you missed it, Katt Williams recently came forward with a public apology to Michael Jackson's family, and it caught everyone off guard. He admitted he regrets all those wild jokes he used to make about MJ back in his old comedy specials. Katt said that with time and wisdom, he finally realized those jokes weren't just harmless laughs. They were part of something bigger. According to Katt, when he looks back now, he can see it clearly. He shouldn't have mocked Michael because the whole setup around him had strings attached. He said the people who gave him that spotlight, the ones cutting his checks and handing him those stages, had a hidden agenda. And that agenda, as Katt put it, was to pit black men against each other. to make them tear one another down while the industry sat back and cashed in on the chaos. He spoke on how easy it was to get caught up chasing fame and laughs, not realizing the deeper play behind the scenes. That's why his apology hit different. It wasn't just about a few jokes. It was him admitting he'd been used as a pawn in a much bigger game. Fans were shocked, some praising him for owning up, others wondering if this new self-awareness is Katt finally seeing through the system that once made him a star. And that one apology was all it took for social media to explode. People instantly turned on Katt, calling him a total hypocrite. The internet came swinging, saying if he's really sorry for what he said about Michael Jackson, then he owes a whole lot more people an apology, especially the late Wanda Smith. Comments started flooding every platform, and some of them were brutal. One person wrote, "Katt Williams is a POS for what he did to Wanda Smith. F him." Another user jumped in saying, "I remember when Katt Williams went in on Wanda Smith and everyone in Atlanta was laughing and backing him up. It was funny, sure, but Katt gets beside himself way too much and disrespects people."
Nice broccoli. They like my broccoli and they love my baked chicken.
Hey,
And they
right now,
love-
look up your phone and see what it takes to make broccoli, and tell me he doesn't say heat up water.
Shut up.
That's the only step in broccoli. Heat up water.
Whatever.
Have you ever heard of burned broccoli? Can you
whatever,
burn
hater.
broccoli?
Now Wanda Smith's gone, and suddenly everyone in Atlanta want to act like they had her back from day one. I would haunt you, lames. The internet can be ruthless, and this time it's eating its own. But while the cancel crowd is busy sharpening their pitchforks, there's also a wave of people standing up for Katt, and one of them is none other than Dave Chappelle. Dave came through with that raw truth, reminding everyone that comedy is supposed to be a space where people can speak their minds. He compared Katt's situation to his own, when the internet tried to cancel him over jokes about the trans community. Chappelle said that once comedians start holding back their real thoughts out of fear, the art of comedy itself starts dying. He made it clear that comedians shouldn't be silenced just because people can't separate jokes from malice. To Dave, this wasn't about defending offensive humor. It was about protecting free expression in a time where every punchline gets dissected and twisted. And honestly, his message hit deep, because if Katt can't be Katt, then what's left of comedy? But this whole thing isn't just about cancel culture anymore. There's a deeper side to this Katt and Wanda story that barely anyone talks about. Because according to Katt, this wasn't just a war of words. He claimed Wanda and her husband literally tried to take him out over a joke. Yeah, you heard that right. Katt has said more than once that things got real off camera after that infamous interview. Let's rewind to where it all started. Back in September 2018, Katt Williams and fellow comedian Red Grant stopped by Frank and Wanda in the Morning on V103 just to promote Red's upcoming shows in Atlanta. What was supposed to be a casual 20-minute sit-down turned into one of the wildest moments in radio history, and easily the station's most watched clip ever. And once you see it, you'll understand why. At first, everything seemed cool. Laughs, friendly talk, the usual banter, but out of nowhere, the energy shifted. Wanda tried to throw a little shade at Katt, maybe just to tease him, but that move backfired hard. Katt flipped the whole interview on its head, turning it into a full-blown roast session. He didn't just throw jabs. He tore through her comebacks with that lightning-fast wit that only Katt can pull off. And that's when things really got spicy. Katt started talking about Tiffany Haddish, questioning how she landed a Netflix deal without ever doing a stand-up tour. He even said nobody could name a single original joke written by her. And that comment lit up the internet like wildfire.
That's why I don't be coming out doing comedy all the time, because y'all niggas is the worst motherfuckers I've ever tried to entertain in my fucking...
From there, Katt went deeper, saying the entertainment industry had a habit of picking favorites and pushing certain comedians to the top while overlooking raw talent grinding for years. It was part comedy, part truth bomb, and part pure chaos. What people didn't expect was how fast things would spiral from that studio banter to real-life drama. Drama that, according to Katt, nearly turned deadly. Katt didn't stop there. He went all in on what he called a major problem in Hollywood. He started breaking down how truly talented black female comedians are constantly overlooked by the big networks and media companies. He said these women grind for years, perfecting their craft, yet the spotlight always seems to land on someone the industry chooses, not necessarily the most deserving. According to Katt, that's exactly what happened with Tiffany Haddish. He claimed she was the safe pick, the one the higher-ups decided to push because she fit a certain image they thought would appeal more to mainstream, or in his words, white audiences. That's when things took a sharp turn. Wanda jumped in, cutting him off mid-sentence, saying, "Tiffany blew up because she's real and relatable." But Katt wasn't having none of it. He clapped back fast, shutting that argument down in seconds. Tiffany climbed to the top of the black comedy female scene for two main reasons, he fired back. She talks non-stop about dating white men and she's got lighter skin. Boom. The studio went silent for a second, and then chaos broke loose. That comment hit hard. Some people in the room laughed nervously, others just froze, realizing Katt had officially taken the gloves off. It was one of those moments where the tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. From there, the interview went from playful to downright personal.
I shouldn't have, honestly. Some of these things are the reason that the enemy decides to go ahead and let you be famous, is your ability to tear down your own kind.
And everyone watching could feel it. That line became one of the most replayed sound bites online, sparking endless debates about colorism, favoritism, and truth in comedy. By that point, the energy between Katt and Wanda was already tense. You could feel it through the screen. What started as awkward banter quickly turned into something way more personal. Wanda decided to switch it up and tossed Katt a random question about his cooking skills, asking if he ever made meals for his kids. It sounded playful, but the tone, yeah, that shade was loud, and Katt caught it instantly. He wasn't about to let that slide, not even for a second. That's when Katt unleashed one of the most ruthless roast sessions ever broadcast live on radio. He started firing back with punchlines so quick and sharp that even the host didn't know whether to laugh or step in. Wanda tried to laugh it off, and for a brief moment, it looked like the tension eased. The kind of fake chuckle you give when you're trying to save face. But just as it seemed things might cool down, Katt flipped the whole energy again. Out of nowhere, he started cracking jokes about Wanda's kids. The entire tone of the room shifted. It went from a talk show to a stand-up battle right there on air. Katt had the audience howling while Wanda sat there trying to keep her composure. He completely took control of the mic, roasting, riffing, and turning the interview into a live comedy special. By the time he was done, the studio was in chaos. And that's the exact moment the internet turned it into a viral clip that still gets replayed years later. At first, Wanda tried to play it cool. She laughed it off like everything was fine, but you could see it in her face, that tight smile hiding pure anger underneath. The tension was boiling, and everyone in that studio knew it. Instead of backing off, Wanda tried flipping the script by bringing up Katt's past legal issues, throwing little jabs to knock him off his rhythm. Then she went for his hair, cracking jokes that were clearly meant to sting.
Have where you can use everything you know. And that's true. You can use more than you know. You can use what you think. Use it. Don't be afraid. Don't let these bitch-ass niggas button your lip. Say it anyway.
The crowd got louder, some laughing, others just stunned at how fast things were spiraling. But Katt wasn't the type to take hits quietly. He came back swinging. When Wanda tossed one last jab near the end, calling him Lil Mama and even hinting that he might be gay, that was the breaking point. Katt shut that down instantly. No hesitation, no filter. He hit back with pure precision, roasting her so brutally that the entire studio went silent for a moment before bursting into nervous laughter. It was rough to watch. Wanda sitting there trying to keep her cool while Katt absolutely dominated the exchange. The vibe shifted from playful banter to pure humiliation right there on her own show. You could see her confidence cracking as Katt's comebacks hit harder with every word. It was one of those moments that instantly went viral, not because it was funny, but because it felt like you were watching someone lose control of their own platform in real time. As for Katt, he kept quiet for years, never once commenting on Wanda getting fired or the chaos that followed. Fans kept asking him about it, waiting for him to clear the air, but Katt stayed silent until January 2024. That's when he finally broke his silence during an appearance on Club Shay with Shannon Sharpe, and he came ready to talk. For the first time, Katt laid out his side of the story, and what he said flipped the narrative completely. According to Katt, the whole Wanda situation wasn't some random blow-up. it actually started before the interview even began. He claimed Wanda had promised him off camera that she wouldn't bring up his legal troubles or say anything about his kids. Katt said he trusted that. He thought they were going to keep it professional and have some fun promoting Red Grant's show. But the second he started talking about the Tiffany Haddish situation, that's when, in his words, she switched up. Katt said Wanda immediately jumped in, bringing up his time in jail and throwing shade at his parenting, even though she knew those topics were off limits. That's when, according to him, things started spiraling. He felt disrespected, like she broke that trust just to get a reaction out of him for ratings. And once that switch flipped, there was no going back. He went into full roast mode, and the interview turned into the viral showdown everyone remembers today. Katt explained that, from his perspective, it wasn't about ego or cruelty. It was about defending himself after being blindsided on live radio. And hearing it from him, you start to see the situation in a whole new light. Katt never said a word back when Wanda got fired. Not a tweet, not a statement, nothing. He completely stayed out of the headlines, letting the world talk while he moved in silence. But fast forward a few years later, and in January 2024, during his appearance on Club Shay with Shannon Sharpe, Katt finally decided to speak up. And what he revealed had people's jaws on the floor. Katt claimed the whole Wanda Smith drama didn't actually start during the interview like everyone thought. It began before the cameras even started rolling. According to him, Wanda had pulled him aside beforehand and promised she wouldn't bring up anything about his legal issues or his kids.
Where you at under the sound of my voice? Do you have a real co-worker?
Right.
Do you have a ratchet friend? Do you have a sister? Do you have a cousin? Do you have a nephew? Do you have a niece? Is they so ghetto? When did that become marketable? Knock it off. They like her because she want to sleep with a white man. That's why the only thing she said was, I want to give it to Brad Pitt. The only thing before that in the movie with me is I slept with this white man and I got a white baby. She had a white husband for the 14 years she been doing comedy, and then all of a sudden divorced him, then said he abused her, then wrote a book, then said he didn't, and then now we're at Brad Pitt. So hey, you can say whatever you want. She said she got a disease for JJ. Don't nobody check for that. I support Linnell, Melanie Camacho, Miss Laura, all the people that got skipped over in the list between now and then. It's no shade to nobody. We are in the only business where, as a black woman, what you look like is not supposed to be held against you. And time again, they show you that you can be sidetracked by anything light-skinned.
She wanted to keep things light, positive, and centered around his success. Katt said he trusted that. He thought this was going to be a fun, respectful chat about comedy, his career, and the Emmy he had just won for his work on Atlanta. But things went left fast. Katt said the moment he started discussing Tiffany Haddish and calling out how Hollywood plays favorites, Wanda jumped in and broke her own promise. She started bringing up his kids and his time in jail, completely blindsiding him. That's when, according to Katt, it stopped being an interview and turned into a survival match. He said he felt ambushed, like she was trying to trap him on live radio just to stir controversy. He even mentioned that before going live, Wanda told him, "Well, I just want to talk to you because you just won an Emmy for the city of Atlanta. And this is Atlanta. They just want to hear about the Emmy and thank you for putting the city on." But instead, it turned into a showdown. Katt said that switch up was what made him snap. And from that point, he wasn't going to sit there and let anyone play him on air. Not even on her turf. Katt never said a word when Wanda got fired. No statements, no interviews, nothing. He stayed quiet for years while the internet ran wild with opinions, theories, and memes. But then, in January 2024, during his guest appearance on Club Shay with Shannon Sharpe, Katt finally decided to clear the air once and for all. And his explanation completely flipped the public's perspective. According to Katt, the whole Wanda Smith situation didn't start during the interview. It started before the cameras even turned on. He claimed that moments before going live, Wanda had pulled him aside and promised not to bring up his legal history or his kids. She wanted to keep it positive, celebrating his recent Emmy win for his role on Atlanta. Katt said she even told him, "I just want to talk to you because you just won an Emmy for the city of Atlanta, and this is Atlanta. They just want to hear about the Emmy and thank you for putting the city on." But when the show started rolling, everything changed. Katt said the moment he mentioned Tiffany Haddish and the politics of comedy, Wanda completely switched gears and broke that promise. She brought up his kids, made digs about his time in jail, and tried to corner him live on air. That's when Katt said the energy in the room flipped, and he wasn't going to let anyone play him like that. From that point on, he turned defensive, and the whole interview transformed into a verbal boxing match, the kind that the internet still can't stop replaying years later. Katt told Shannon that it wasn't about ego or humiliation. It was about self-respect. He said he felt like he was being ambushed for clicks and controversy, and when that happens, you've only got two choices. Sit there and take it, or fire back with the same heat, and we all know which one Katt chose. Looking back now, the entire situation feels layered. A mix of broken trust, miscommunication, and raw emotion broadcast live for the world to see. Whether you think Katt went too far or was just defending himself, one thing's for sure. That interview became an unforgettable moment in comedy history. So what do you think? Was Katt wrong for clapping back the way he did? Or was Wanda out of line for breaking that promise before the cameras started rolling? Drop your thoughts down below because this debate still divides fans years later. And if you made it this far, don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Stay locked in because we've got more wild celebrity stories, shocking behind-the-scenes drama, and exclusive updates coming your way. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's next.